Welcome to another edition of Books and Writers. My guest today is a celebrity chef and nutrition advisor to the biggest Bollywood stars. She is also a successful author with 2 books and a third one on the anvil. She is India's first graduate of the Kushi Institute in Massachusetts and the leading exponent of macrobiotic diet and technology. She is Shonali Sabherwal. Welcome, Shonali.
Thanks, Katil.
Macrobiotic nutrition expert, chef, and successful author. Such a multifaceted personality. Where did it all begin? Your journey into this entire world of nutrition and biotics, probiotics, macrobiotics, where does it begin?
It started with my dad because he had cancer and I was trying to help him out with an alternative diet. But I think it started a little before that also because I was looking for something that was permanent. I wasn't looking for like a weight loss fad kind of a diet. I wanted to embark upon a lifestyle that would help. And then my dad's cancer just happened to be one of those precursors to push me along the path. So it actually happened with changing his health. And of course it resonated with my life. I was, doing Vipassana meditation. So it resonated with the whole energy component of the food. The whole going back to the chakra system, the Indian chakra system, going back into how we all come from one cosmic life force, how that splits into, male, female, man, woman, yin, yang. Food was to be looked at by that, by those 2 forces also. So it kind of started for me there. But I think the seed has always been there, much before my father.
It has been there.
Yeah.
I would say that I wouldn't have guessed with your earlier career in market research and other things before that.
Yeah.
So it was quite when one got to know about all the things.
Yeah,
it was quite a departure. What took you to the Kushi Institute?
So I was studying with someone called Mona Schwartz in Dehradun, and she kind of pushed me along and said, listen, it's better you get a structured program in, because you could study with me, but I'm not very structured in the way I teach. And for macrobiotic counseling, you need to have focused courses which are pretty much geared towards diagnosis and structured way of learning cooking and just breaking down macrobiotics. And the Kushi Institute does it really well. So she kind of pushed me along, and I decided to just one fine day get up and quit market research and go. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are India's only macrobiotic nutrition expert.
I am India's first counselor and from the Kushi Institute, the first graduate for sure, but now I'm not the only. So after me, there have been people who have taken it on.
Oh, wonderful. So you started the trend. So
I kind of paved the way, yes. I am the first graduate of the Kushi Institute. And
when did you graduate, if I may?
I graduated in 2010.
2010.
Yeah, I mean, actually 2010 to 12, we did level 4, but level 3 kind of makes us, we're 3/4 of the way there. So I think I really wrapped up my courses in about 2010 and 11, around about that time.
So that was, I think, a period of when we were still, in terms of nutrition and dietetics, dealing with therapy-based nutrition, or you can say therapeutic points of nutrition, or at best you had a lot of fat-based concerns or sugar-based concerns.
Yeah.
When we talk about macrobiotics, that was almost something out of the left field.
Yeah, it was.
So how did that come about in the
So
initial
it was
days?
really hard because here I was embarking upon A, something that never existed, B, a category and a market that I didn't have, and C, moving away from just protein, carbohydrates, fat, and calories, which is what most people go by. And then to tell someone that, listen, you can cure your cancer with diet, or you can cure your, fibromyalgia with diet, or you can cure your irritable bowel disorder with diet was like a really big thing. So I decided to cook first. That was the first step that I took. I said, let me start making the food and changing at least 20 people to see if that would impact a larger audience. And I'm very lucky. I started with 5 meals, and then I went on to 20, and then I went on to 30. There was one time I was doing 50. And I was fortunate enough to attract the right clientele who understood what I was doing to talk about it. So I had them talk about it to the media.
And there were people who the media listened to.
There were people who the media listened to. Bollywood listens. I mean, everybody listens to Bollywood.
We have to drop some names now.
Yeah. So, like Katrina started eating with me. This was in March. I started in January, and in March she started with me. And by chance, by 2-3 months down the line, I heard from a friend that she's mentioned me in a midday article. So that really, I think, started opening doors for me because she really talked about what she was doing. And she was doing really well at that time. It was a good phase for her. She was seeing the results. So I think that made a huge difference. And then it so happened that Jacqueline was starting her career and she came on board. And then Neha was recommended by Katrina and she came on board. And that became my kind of so-called spokespeople out there.
It's good to have such names,
Yeah, it's good because I think Bollywood really helps you get out there. The little recognition that you get, because I was a startup, I had no money to really advertise or anything. I was pretty much using the local dabbawala to deliver. And, I was just putting up posters in shops, and that's how Katrina found me. She found me from a shop, put up at a Bandra, post at the Bandra shop. So it was good. My name got out there. I got recognized for what I was doing. Even I had, like the CEO of Marico was eating with me, and, like the CEO of Shadi.com was, even they spoke. So I guess every little thing helped. And word of mouth built up. And, that's what got me out there. I got recognized for the food first. And then, of course, the book just happened. It just fell into my lap.
So that's my next question. You just preempted us. How does the book fit into the scheme of things? So it's a good medium to talk about what your work is.
Yeah, see, I felt that, listen, if I had taken on this whole thing, this whole mission of macrobiotics, which I had, because when my dad got the cancer and when I finally encountered what I wanted to do, I did feel it was a calling that I was drawn to. And I felt I should touch everyone with it. And I was really excited and fired up about what I had learned and, how it connects the dots to everything and stuff. So, and macrobiotic people who are trained in the macrobiotic way are trained chefs to be macrobiotic chefs, to cook healing food and things like that. So it was really important to get out in every which way you could probiotics.
It's for people who have no idea about what macrobiotics is.
Yeah, people who had no idea, to build up a level of awareness. I was very lucky that the Mumbai Mirror really let me write.
Yeah.
I think that was a big thing for me because in those years, those were the two things that kept me going. On one hand, I had a little bit of Bollywood talking about me. On the other hand, I was really writing serious stuff for the Mumbai Mirror. And I remember there were some key journalists who played a very big part in my, destiny, so to say, with macrobiotics. So that really helped because I got recognized as a person who was serious with what I did. And it really helped, I think, the publisher to get to me. And then I think writing was in my genes, so that happened pretty easily for me as well.
So the Beauty Diet was your first book?
Yeah.
So you think that, a lot of the people would go in for a macrobiotic lifestyle if you gave them the additional lure of looking beautiful?
Well, I kind of trusted the publisher with that because I had certain Bollywood clients and they too wanted to kind of use it as a hook.
It covers, I think,
it has Hema Malini ji and Isha, yes, and they were my clients. So it kind of was a nice way to draw people in because it does impact beauty, there's no doubt. And on a much deeper level, it impacts everything else. So I think a lot of people who picked up the book they knew that, listen, it's not just an esoteric, foo-foo shishi type of book. She does give you much more. So I've had serious clients come to me through that book.
So the publishers, who's the publisher, I think?
Random House.
Random House.
Penguin Random House now,
Penguin Random House. Yeah. So the publishers decided to call it the Beauty Diet Whereas your book actually is talking, working at a deeper level
Deeper
with the
level,
reader.
yes. Yes.
So I've read that there's a lot of conditions which can even go under remission
Yes.
when one follows this
Yes.
system
For
of
example,
diet.
my dad's condition, there was a person who had written a book preceding his condition who had talked about how his prostate cancer had disappeared with the macrobiotic diet. And even though he was in stage 4,
Okay.
for 10 years he was in remission.
Wow.
And then he passed away not because of the cancer. So that kind of egged me on to take my dad's case on, right? So yes, I mean, food really changes everything. Food changes your blood condition and food changes your cell structure. So if it can change those two things, why can't it change, everything in
Absolutely.
your body,
So how much of a resonance does the macrobiotic diet system find in the commonly held beliefs today, where there's acid and alkaline conditions in the body?
It is a part of the diet. So
It
the
is a
diet
part
is
of
aiming to get you to be within an acid-alkaline balance, and basically that's going back to your blood structure, keeping your blood structure healthy, and therefore going back to impacting your cellular structure. So acid-alkaline is a very big part of what I do.
And how does that correlate with the tamasic and with the kapha?
Like the person who discovered who was one of the people who kind of put forth the diet first, had actually studied the Charak Samhita, the Ayurvedic texts, and then gone on to formulate his own philosophy. So tamasic is really acidic
Okay.
blood
Yeah.
condition, right? Rajasic is almost the same, except Rajasic food has pitta qualities.
Okay.
So I'm bringing that all in as well right now.
So
into
there's
my
no
food.
points of difference between the traditionally held Indian system of diet and
Ayurveda.
nutrition and what you're proposing?
Not
in
really.
your-
There's not much of a departure from there, except they are big believers in milk
Yeah.
and dairy, and I'm not.
Okay.
And they were big believers, I think, in the old system of milk and dairy. But the new system just doesn't work. So that's where we differ. And of course, in strict Ayurvedic traditions, sugar, refined sugar, is not a very big thing. And in my
Yeah, it didn't exist
philosophy
then,
as
I
well,
agree.
I don't believe in it.
I
at
think it
all.
didn't exist then. Sugar
It
did
didn't,
not
yeah.
exist.
So they advocate things like gur, which has enzymes and things, and that also I take off the table.
Okay. You're not letting that also
No, because
go.
I feel it processes the same way in the body. So that's not really something I advocate unless you're in great health condition and your body can take it.
I'm a guru fan, so
Yeah, so if you're in great condition,
no,
Then-
but still.
yeah, then it's allowed. Otherwise, it's off the table.
Okay. So a lot of people, I see, these days you get a lot of tips, through websites and general health sites, and a lot of concerned people forward you WhatsApp messages which are, So I hear prominent dietitians saying that, you can have the rice and you can have the ghee and you can have everything is there. Of course, the normal caveat is in moderation, but when you say that, it's not off the table, it is there. So it is a bigger temptation for people to listen to that more carefully. Are there any food besides what you already mentioned,
Yeah,
sugar
I mean,
and dairy?
yeah, I mean, I feel if it's not going to make, my criteria for taking it off the table is making good blood or not. It's as simple as that. So if dairy isn't going to make good blood condition, it's off the table, especially for someone who's suffering with a problem,
Yeah.
right? Maybe someone who isn't suffering and who is of great health condition. And when I talk suffering, there are grades of suffering. Someone could be getting a migraine, someone could be getting an allergy, someone could be getting a really serious irritable bowel disorder. It really depends. So in those cases, in fact, 99.9% of the time, I'm like, dairy is out.
Okay.
Right? Then there's sugar. Then there's white refined flour. Then white rice is actually sugar and starch.
But a lot of people say that
But a
it's
lot of
okay.
people are eating it, and a lot of people in the South thrive on it. But constitutionally, the South Indians are kind of having it also because they make balance with all their idli, dosa, and fermentation. South Indians are very big on fermentation, and that's the cornerstone of what I do. So the point is that are you making balance? Now, if you're going to tell people living in the metros that it's okay to do this in moderation and that in moderation and this in moderation, then that person's following a calorie-based approach.
Yes.
And that's not my approach in any case, right? It's not a calorie in, calorie out approach. It's not a protein, only protein, carbohydrate and fat, and you balance that approach. That's not my approach in any case. It's a very scientifically based approach on what your condition is, what your constitution is, where do you come from, what are the problems that you have, what are the foods that you abuse to get to the problem, how am I diagnosing your organs, how are your meridian lines.
Sorry, how are you diagnosing my organs?
So I'm qualified to diagnose your organs on the facially.
Okay.
So I can actually see what your organs look like, the health of your organs. And if I find that something is off, then I have the ability to go to that particular meridian line and look for an imbalance in the meridian line to see how badly off you could be.
Okay, so this is this diagnostic is a part of the
It's a part of my
training
consulting.
that you have?
It's a part of my training.
Okay.
So if we know that, let's say you have a stomach issue, and I look at your large intestine meridian, and I find that there's a problem, and I look at the severity of the problem, and I find that, listen, there are ways to do that because you've been trained, that it really needs attention. There are definitely going to be some foods that I will pull off the chart.
Okay.
Meat would be one of them. Okay, if it's a serious digestive issue. Any kind of non-vegetarian food would be one of them.
Complex foods which are difficult.
Yeah, no,
to digest.
difficult foods to digest. Gluten would be another, right? So you cannot have a blanketed approach to anything because every person's unique.
So if I understand correctly, your prescriptive approach is based on macrobiotic diet and its principles.
Yes.
Whereas your diagnostics are on diagnosing organs through reading the face, through meridian lines, which are also part of macrobiotic
Yes,
diet
yes.
training?
It's all a part of the traditional Chinese medicine, the Oriental
Okay.
system of diagnosis. That's where we start the framework from. And then it's also based on constitutionally, like we have something, we use two terms called yin and yang.
Correct.
So constitutionally, are you a yang person? Are you a yin constitution? What I go through, you may not go through. So I may be able to take a bowl of yakhni pulao or something like that. You might not be able to take it. You know what I mean? Because constitutionally we are different.
Isn't conditioning a part of that? Say, I've been having yakhni pulao since childhood, wouldn't I be more prone to accepting it?
No,
better
constitutionally you are determined to do that. So the parents give you your blueprint, which is your constitution. So let's say constitutionally you were born from in the North Indian tradition, and your parents were also, both North Indians, and were coming from the lineage where they, meat eating tradition was in their genes and their blood, then the chances are you will have inherited the same thing. However, giving you my example, I came from a tradition where my father hailed from that tradition, but my mother was a vegetarian, so was my grandmother.
Right.
So maybe my side of the genes were actually not meant to digest the meat, and that's where my stomach started really getting affected.
So your second book, The Love Diet, what was that about?
It was about love.
So is it foods to eat when you are in love, or is it foods that are going to make you fall in love? Or is it food you feed other people so that they're in love with you? What is it
No,
about?
it's foods that you eat to be in love with yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's being in love with yourself 24/7, so you can give love out. You're in a state of receiving love if you have self-love.
So it's foods that are going to make you feel more...
Foods that change your consciousness to be a better human being to everyone and everything around you, to spread happiness, to invite love into your life. People saying, oh my God, you can actually eat to be in love with yourself, give me a break, But the people who picked up the beauty diet picked it up. But I still feel that book could go miles if we repackage that book. Because the information, it's really rich with information, and it's really good stuff. But I think it was too early for its time.
Maybe it was too early in the acceptance of the
food taking you in that
food
direction.
taking you in that
I
direction.
think this book could have been like a chapter to a larger book. So I'm actually thinking about, let's look
Yeah,
at
let's
it.
hope. And it's
Yes.
still on the shelf, so I hope
Yes, it's
people
still on
can
the
pick it
shelf.
up.
People are picking it up, but I think it has to have a new look, a new face, and a little bit of a change of information.
Okay.
It taught me things. I've requested the publisher to go ahead and let's repackage it.
So your first book is the beauty diet. Your
Yeah.
second book is the love diet, and what is the third book about?
So the third book is the Detox Diet.
This is the third book.
Yeah. And it's all about gut health. It's all about how we have forgotten an organ. It's almost like it's a separate organ in the body. It's made up of all these microorganisms that exist within us, and how we have neglected, I think Indians primarily have neglected this one aspect of their body, which is feeding these microorganisms the right foods to survive and to keep healthy. So it talks about like everything about it, and it's very close to my heart because it's a subject that matter that came out of my own life, and I talk about how foods help and how foods are going to get them out of there, and how what foods do not help these microorganisms, what foods help them, why do we suffer, why does anyone suffer from something called the leaky gut syndrome. What causes it? What causes autoimmune diseases? Because that's what we're seeing a lot of now.
Now, yes.
So
a lot of inherited diseases. When you're born, you acquire certain conditions when you're coming out.
Right.
A lot of it also, I think, as a common man's exposure to gut health is limited to the probiotics that the doctor prescribes when he is writing an antibiotic.
Yeah.
Because that kind of, wipes your system clean and kills
Right.
everything. So they need to give you that. How often does an incident like that play with the normal gut health of a person?
It actually worsens it.
Worsens it.
Yeah, because antibiotics are one of the key players in spoiling the ecosystem within you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So painkillers, antibiotics actually propagate bad pathogens and make it worse. So the whole thing in the book is to center it around how you get it from food. And the good bacteria, the good gut bacteria as we call it, they check in and check out every day. So they don't really stay all the time. You've got to keep inoculating yourself with it.
Okay.
That is something a lot of people aren't aware of. So I talk about how to do it on a daily basis. We're not doing it. See, Indians have their dahi and they're very happy. They say, humko lactobacilli mil gaya, and that's it. It ends there for them. But a lot of them, because I'm saying no dairy, here I am saying, listen, there's no dairy in my approach, and then on the other hand, I'm saying it's okay to have dahi. So dahi I compromise with depending upon the condition of the person. But I feel you need much more than that. So you need things like, pressed salad. You need things like a quick pickle. You need a probiotic kanji maybe, like the Indians were having. And we've stopped having it.
Kanji is the rice cooked.
No, kanji is the carrot-based probiotic drink.
Okay.
You need Rejuvelac, which is made with sprouted grains. You do need, and these are going to sound really esoteric, but you do need a kefir, which is made with kefir grains.
Okay.
You do need a kombucha, which is made with a cultured colony of good bacteria.
So is there going to be a sense of alien food when you talk about this?
There is going to be a sense of alien food, for sure. But I've been one for knowing that I have to set a trend. I've been one for venturing into a market which didn't exist. I'm very clear that I'm creating something because, when I came along doing the food, no one even did the food.
No, the thing is,
either I take that mantle on, or I just say, forget it, I'm not going to do it because it's not going to get me anything,
So isn't it easy for anybody to start following the macrobiotic dietary system when somebody is already doing the food for you? And but if I have to take care of my body myself and make sure that the food is consumed is right according to the... Isn't that difficult for a typical Indian household?
No, it isn't, because I don't get into everything right away. See, I take you baby steps at a time. So if it's a regular Indian eating household, they can do a lot of stuff just within what they're eating. For example, if they change their white to brown, that's a big step. White rice to brown rice.
Okay.
Big step. Then if they change their consumption of, they throw out the milk and dairy products. Big step. Then they cut back sugar or eliminate it. Huge step, right? So you start with transition, right? Then when they feel a little better, they have the ability to now quit their cup of coffee. Huge step, right? And then as you graduate and you go along, you start introducing, everybody knows we had our dadima's pickles made in vinegar. We used to have our salted, little pickles, kacha haldi ka, what we would put. Those are all probiotics, right? So bring that in. So you're getting a good dose of probiotics. Up your idli dosa and take a bit more probiotics coming in, right? So it's actually I've worked with every system. So if you want to make it, like people ask me, how do I get good hair? How do I get good skin? How do I get good nails? How do I, So then I say, okay, fine. Do you want to take it to the next level? It's like you walking into a skin clinic and saying, I want the best facial that's available. Would you want the best products to go with it? Or would you be someone who is saying, listen, I don't need a facial, I'm fine. I'll just sit at home and do what I know best. Let me do my facial on my own. Same thing. So do you want to make it simple? There's a way to make it simple. You don't need to do all of this. You can do it simply in your house. Or do you want to take it to the next level? Do you want to learn what the trends in the world are? I think that's what health books should do, right? We should be looking at the new trends in health. We should be looking at why disease happens. Because we are so focused on looking at things that weight loss ho gaya, do this for weight, everything is weight. Why are we focused around weight? Why are we obsessed with it? Why aren't we focused around why is disease happening? Why are people getting more migraines? Why are people blowing their thyroid glands more? Why are women getting more PCOD? Why are cancers happening to 1 in 5 people now in India? No one's focusing on all that. It's happening because of the food.
I see in the West there's a lot of supplement business happening, especially when it comes to probiotics. And there's a lot of, pills you can pop or powders you can, put in a glass and sachets and stuff like that. Now they are all aimed at probiotic health supplements and things like that. How do you see what role these things will play? I mean, because they are just off the shelf. They're as good as a...
Yeah, see, my thing is that if you have a good diet, there's no way... If you get everything through food, why would you need a supplement? If you're getting everything that you need, that's what we came from the earth and we were meant to eat from the earth, right? So if you're going to get everything from your food, your major food nutrients, your food groups, everything that your body needs, and your body is functioning well to extract those nutrients, right? You've got a great gut going on, you've got a good Agni system, your fire, your stomach digestive fire is super. Why would you need a supplement? You don't really need a supplement, right? If you really want to use supplements, then use it when your diet is great, when your blood condition is great, because then the supplements are really going to take you somewhere. Yeah, so if today I was to supplement my diet, let's say with a superfood like a goji berry, if I was not extracting the nutrients from my food, there's no point in doing goji berry. It's like apple cider vinegar is really caught on, right? Everybody's doing it. But how much of that apple cider vinegar is doing you any good when you are not extracting the nutrients in your system? And how much of it will it alkalize you if you're going to go and have a pizza later on, or you're going to have a burger later on, or you're going to have, something which is going to be junk? That apple cider vinegar is not going to help. So if you change your whole diet, if you give yourself a good foundation and then add the apple cider vinegar, sure, it's going to make a big difference.
But the detox diet by itself is simply an advanced version of what the beauty
No, I
diet
think
starts
it's more than advanced. I've taken it to the other level. I've kind of really gone down to digestion, which is the primary source of everything. Okay. I think your gut defines you. It even makes you look the way you look. If your digestive power is compromised, there's a lot that's going to break down in your body. So I've really, really brought it out there, and I think it's where we are headed. It's what we should be looking at. And I think as a health practitioner, we need to talk about what's the next level, I think every book has its time, and some books come at the right time. Some books don't come at the right time. I'm hoping that this is the time for this book.
So have you been seeing a lot of positive reception to the concept of macrobiotic? Yes.
Now I am, yes, because I think now I've kind of put in 8 years and I've kind of created a market and I've opened up, there are other practitioners. Everybody's offering their own thing. I think I'm the only one in Bombay currently. But yeah, I mean, I feel that the market is more responsive to health from a real health perspective, not just from, oh, I just want to be thin. There's more to it. So they are becoming aware, very aware.
And what does 2017 hold for you? The book comes out in January.
Yeah.
Again, the same publisher?
Same publisher.
Random House Penguin.
Yes. And I would like to, I've talked about a lot about these products in the book. I'm starting with that range.
So you're going to be offering products?
I'm going to be offering those products, yes.
Oh,
it's a new category and it's a new market again. It's a market that exists but on a minuscule level.
But it's an easy way to get people introduced into beyond just reading about it, but actually experiencing it.
Yeah. And I was doing all that work with my food. So this is something that I was giving out in my meal service. And this is something that I gave out on my detox diet plans. Like Jacqueline was a part of that plan and she was taking all this. She was doing all the probiotic stuff that I was doing for her, the kefirs and the kombucha. And every time someone, like Dalip Tahil has done it, Jacqueline's done it, Neha's done it. So they've all availed of it, but they are an audience that knows about it, right? So now I would like to take it out to people and say, listen, you instead of having a Coke, why don't you have a kefir instead? Or if instead of having a, Red Bull, have a kombucha. The benefits are to a hitherto unknown.
What is your range going to have?
Like I'm starting with like a probiotic non-dairy based drink. I'm starting off with a, like a probiotic vegetable based product which you can add. So like I said, if everybody doesn't want to go hardcore, then they can just use these products for their daily lifestyle. So at
Will
least
it make enough of a difference to their lives?
Oh, a hell of a lot.
To their guts?
Yes. It just, it changes your biodiversity in the gut to a level that you don't even know.
So does the book give me pointed advice that, okay, fine, if you are suffering from X, Y, Z, this is the kind of stuff that you should look out for?
Yes. The book points you in the direction to what you have to go in for. The book's also been very open about giving recipes out.
Okay.
Like the one thing I don't hold back at all. So the book talks about recipes for each one of these things. The book demonstrates the recipes. If you want to make it at home, you don't want to buy it off the shelf, please do it.
Okay.
So
and if one wants to see it, like download it, there's a website that one can go to?
Yes, there's a website which talks about it. I haven't yet started the whole video tutorial, but I'm heading in that direction as well. But that will start soon.
So when you give packed foods?
I've stopped the meal service for a while because I wanted to venture into products, but I'm coming out again with a newer concept in meals also.
So when you talk about products, are you going to be packing them? They'll have a shelf life?
Yes, they will.
Will the preservatives?
They'll be packing, there are no preservatives because it needs refrigeration.
That's all it needs?
That's all it needs. And shelf life is long because it's already been preserved naturally.
Yeah, if it's a pickle or something
like so it's like anywhere from the krauts last for up to a month to 2 months. The drinks last for up to 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And that by the time you take it, you'll consume it in any case.
Wonderful. We look forward to the release of your book.
Yes, thank you.
And that's going to be in January. Any dates been decided
yet? Usually like mid-Jan, I think. I don't know when exactly it's going to be coming out, but mid-Jan, I suppose.
Okay, so your friend is giving a foreword again this time.
Yes.
And we're going to have pictures of how to make these things.
Yes, you're going to have pictures of the foods that I'm advocating in the book. You're going to have pictures about how to make the main recipes in the book. There are 3 wonderful diets in the book to follow. There's a raw diet, there's a cooked detox diet, and then there's the master detox plan, which talks about the actual, I call it the detox because I think most people need to detox first to get onto a healthier plan.
But in a country which is very large in terms of the number of diabetics that it has, how do you think that they will be able to follow this diet?
I think for that, the beauty diet was enough. You could have reversed your diabetes with that book.
With that book?
Oh, yes. People just have to follow it, that's all. You see, you can pick up a book and read it. But then if you pick it up and don't follow it, that's another theory altogether, right?
Yeah.
So you have to pick it up and follow it. I think that's when you really see the results. You know, I mean, you really don't need to come to me. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. This is taking away from my consultancy
Yes, I would say
base.
so.
But, you know, I have to be honest. If people have followed the beauty diet and had great results, so why wouldn't you follow the detox diet and have great results also, right? And what is the reason you write a book? You write a book so that your word gets out there and people follow it. So if you follow it, coming to me is just like feeling good because I'm there to sort your problems. It's a personal, okay, I hold your hand.
Also,
and
a lot of people don't get things when they read it.
Yeah,
When
they
somebody
want to
tells
meet
them,
you, they want me to coach you. I agree. But I feel that a lot of people, if they, you know, price is a big thing. If they find it expensive, I tell a lot of people, listen, just read the book.
Yeah.
Change your health with the book. That's all you need to do that
So
I
it's
put out.
foods that you know, bring about a sense of well-being.
Well-being in you.
Like soul food is
Yes,
what we
yes,
usually
yes.
use the term
Yes,
soul food.
yeah.
So that's basically where that entire thing comes
Yes,
from. That
yes.
food that sates your soul.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you feel more comfortable.
Yes, that's what the book is all about.
So isn't that what a lot of people are anyways looking at? Maybe, you know.
I
lot of
don't
people-
think so. I think people are still looking at the next wave of health and how do I, you know, look ripped and how do I look, get my six-pack, and some people are stuck there. Some people are stuck with, why do I have an autoimmune disorder suddenly? Some people are stuck with, oh my God, I have a thyroid, is it going to be a lifelong condition? You know, so different people are stuck at different places, and very few really want to look at, am I eating to keep myself happy? Like, I mean, do you really think that I'm going to have a very busy presentation today, let me eat something that would calm my mind down? No, you'd want a cup of coffee, which is going to send you in another direction, right?
But good thing you said that, you know, make me feel good about
Yeah,
the
make you feel
presentation.
great.
Because that's where the entire Indian concept of the dahi and shakar comes into play. That logo kuch meetha kha ke jao.
No, that dahi and shakar is throwing you off in the wrong direction.
In the wrong direction.
Of course,
you're saying.
shakar makes for you to be ratty and bad mood and all of that.
Because
So
when
I
you
don't think
come
dahi and
down from
shakar.
the high
No, I just think that was tradition.
Yeah.
Muh meetha karke jao. But the thing is that when you have, like I had a talk that I gave today, and would I address my breakfast properly on that day? Like, will I say that I'll have a whole grain to keep me stable? I'll have sustained sugar for 8 hours, and I will not choose to have a cup of tea or something that would build up acidic condition. And, you know, I'll walk into my talk calm and have really good serotonin. I'll throw in some sweet potato, that's great serotonin, and I'd be calm and I'd, you know, have my wits about me, my thought processes would be in place, and I'd just flow. A lot of people don't question their diets like that. So this book actually made you do that.
Great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Shonali.
you, thank
It's
you,
such
thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much.